This is a book that you're gonna love and hate at the same time, and I think this is absolutely one of my favorite books I've ever read in my life. Hi guys, welcome back, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Pauline, and I am dedicating this channel for anyone in their 20s. Of course, if you're not in your 20s, you could still watch and it'll be helpful. But I learned a lot in my early 20s, and I kind of did a lot of research, trial and error, and I learned a lot of things that I wish I kind of knew earlier or were taught earlier, and so that's why I want to help people out there. I cover topics anywhere from holistic living, realness and wellness, mindset, and ultimately how to live a balanced lifestyle and to be your authentic and pure self. If you're interested in that, subscribe, and I will be sharing my journey and my tips and insights along the way. So now let's get to the point of this video. This book is something that I read about 2 years ago, but I want to reread it again because it's so amazing. It's literally, I think it's literally the best like self-help book, and the reason I do that is because it's set up in a way where it doesn't feel like a typical like, oh, 10 rules to live by or 5 things to do, blah blah blah, like things like that. It's a little bit more casual, and it's almost like, I'll explain. But basically, this is a book that you're gonna love and hate at the same time, and I think this is absolutely one of my favorite books I've ever read in my life. Like up to this point, it's my favorite book. And so that book is, drumroll, The Courage to Be Disliked. So this is The Courage to Be Disliked. It's by Ichiro, Kishimi, and Fumitake, Koga. And it's basically the best book ever. And the title alone is just amazing. Like, it resonates with me so much because I've really been on this whole, like, I think there's this like theme of people pleasing with a lot of people, and especially in your early 20s and teens. The entire book is set up in a way where it's a conversation between the two, and so that makes it really unique because when the philosopher is like speaking, it feels like he's speaking to you, and so when the young man is, you know, listening to what he's saying and the philosophical and psychological concept, you're kind of hearing that as well, and so you're also, it's like he's speaking to you. So the young man gets confused, you get confused. He gets upset, you're kind of upset. So it's really fascinating. It makes it for a good and easy read. I usually love when books are set up in a unique way where it makes things more interesting. So the book is set up in about, I think, 5 conversations, 5 main chapters or conversations, and they explore topics that relate to self-acceptance, interpersonal relationships, and ultimately how to find true happiness. I'm gonna go through some key takeaways from this book that I think are really gonna help you, and stay tuned for the end of this video because I'm gonna be sharing my favorite quote from this book. So the first key concept is separation of tasks. This means that you understand what your tasks are and what other people's tasks are, and this allows for you to avoid unnecessary stress and conflicts. The philosopher kind of expands on this idea by saying that you need to focus on yourself and what your thoughts and your actions and things that you have control over, and those are your tasks. So your thoughts, opinions, the actions you decide to take, you need to just be preoccupied with yourself and your own thoughts, opinions, and actions. You also need to recognize other people's tasks. So you are not responsible for how other people feel, their opinions, their judgment, because that's their task. So for example, if someone does not like you, that's not your problem because that's not your task. So your task is to be your authentic self regardless of other people's opinions of you. And this is why I really love it, because it really drives the home of authenticity, and that's really big for me as well as for my channel. And it kind of alludes to the point that you can't control other people's, you can't control their feelings, you can't control their opinions, so all you can really do is control how you feel and how you feel about yourself and your thoughts, your opinions, and everything, and that's all that really matters. The second key takeaway is this idea that interpersonal relationship problems stem from tasks, meaning that they often arise when you're interfering with other people's tasks and you're not just focused on your own task. So how you do this is, 1, you respect boundaries. You understand that people have their own tasks. For example, how someone does on a test, like a peer, like let's say they got an A, that has nothing to do with you, and you shouldn't even be preoccupied or concerned with how they did, and you should only be concerned with yourself. And so that's their task. So don't worry about how they're doing and comparing to yourself and things like that. Another way to do that is also avoiding over responsibility, meaning that sometimes in our close relationships we feel responsible for the emotions of others, and so we kind of sacrifice ourselves to make others happy, like too often or too much so, at the cost of our own happiness and our own time and our own boundaries. And so basically this book tells you to avoid that. What comes with also creating boundaries is also setting the limits within your boundaries. So you need to like effectively and clearly communicate your boundaries and not allow other people to set their responsibilities and tasks onto you because you are not responsible for them. And oftentimes that can easily happen in close relationships. And then this third key takeaway that I think is very fascinating, and it's actually something that people in their 20s and like especially in their early 20s need to hear, or people in general just need to hear. It's that you can change your life at any given moment. Oftentimes we get stuck and we think that, oh, I can't do anything about it, like I don't know what to do, like this and that, and you're unhappy, but you have control and you can change your life. Now, I know that sounds cheesy, but you really can. And the book kind of maps out ways in which you can do this into like 3 main ways. So the one main thing is be present, focus on your present. This idea is that you're living in the present, don't dwell on past mistakes, don't dwell on the past. Every moment is a new opportunity, and in the present you can take new actions, new steps, and behave differently. And then after you do that, you also need to have a growth mindset, meaning that you don't give up when you hit a challenge or an obstacle. It just means there's an opportunity to grow from it, learn, and then you can grow from it. The third way you can do that is by taking small steps. So if you just take little steps every single day, they're gonna compound, and then you're gonna do some big thing and you're gonna be like, wow, I can't believe I did this. But it's really in the small steps. For example, you can start, let's say you know, want to change how you feel. You're feeling sluggish, you don't feel like you look good, and let's say you want to go into fitness or exercise. You can start by going on walks every day or going on walks 5 days a week, and then you can slowly start adding in, say, a workout routine, or you can do a light jog, or you can swim, or you can pretty much do anything, like anything that relates to fitness or physical activity. You can play a sport, and so you can even do like 10 jumping jacks. You can add that like 4 times a week. So you just take small steps, and after you start taking small steps, you start making more steps and taking more steps, because you start realizing, oh wow, I'm accomplishing, and then so you gain momentum. And then before you know it, you've changed your life. The last, and I think my favorite key takeaway from this book, is this idea that freedom lies in being disliked by others. I know, crazy, right? The philosopher in this book pulls a lot of ideas from psychologists. According to Adlerian psychology, true freedom lies in the courage to be disliked. This means that you are living authentically to yourself and you're not swayed by other people's opinions of you. Therefore, you are truly free. The way you can embrace this freedom is, 1, by being true to yourself. Understand and accept who you are, live by your values and morals and beliefs and not that of others. The way you can do that is by accepting disapproval. You need to realize that not everyone is going to like you, and you just need to be okay with that, because that is okay. I know of this one quote that I really love, and it kind of stuck with me forever. I don't know where I heard it, but it's basically, you can be the sweetest peach, but there'll still be somebody out there that just doesn't like peaches. And so that is very true. How other people feel about you won't really diminish your value or your worth. So you always need to keep that in mind. When you focus on yourself, you build your self-esteem, you have a strong sense of self, you tend to care less and less about what other people think about you, because you are so strong in your morals, your values, your self-worth. So if you can practice self-compassion, you can get to know yourself, and you really work on your self-esteem, that can really help you achieve all these things as well. And now I'm going to be showing you my favorite quote from the book. And this is really hard because there are a lot of really good quotes. I love quotes, and this book has a lot of great quotes, and I had a really hard time just picking one, but you know, I had to. So let me show you which one that is on page 146, and it is, "The courage to be happy also includes the courage to be disliked." And this is in the chapter called "What Real Freedom Is," and it's really interesting because I would really like to read a paragraph that's a page before. So this is on page 146 in case you have the book and you want to see. But the paragraph that I'm reading is on page 144. And the philosopher says, "It is certainly distressful to be disliked. If possible, one would like to live without being disliked by anyone. One wants to satisfy one's desire for recognition. But conducting oneself in such a way as to not be disliked by anyone is an extremely unfree way of living and is also impossible. There is a cost incurred when one wants to exercise one's freedom, and the cost of freedom in interpersonal relationships is that one is disliked by other people." Drop the book. Get it? Like, drop the mic. I think that sums everything up perfectly. And it is so true. We oftentimes are just so preoccupied with what other people are gonna think, whether that be family, friends, colleagues, peers, anyone. And that kind of holds us back from doing a lot of things that we want to do because we're scared of judgment, we're scared of opinions. But what the philosopher is saying is that if you do that, you're not living freely. Freedom lies in being potentially disliked, and chances are you will be disliked because it's very hard, almost impossible, to keep everyone satisfied and for everyone to like everything that you are saying or to agree with everything that you do, and to never have an opinion that goes against what your opinion is, or an idea that goes against your idea. So it's literally impossible. And so it talks about this idea of like basically stop people pleasing, live authentically, be true to yourself. And I really love that. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content relating to holistic living, mindset, and how to live a balanced lifestyle. If there is one book that I recommend you pick up, even if you're not a reader, I would say it's this one. It's not only just a book, but it's really a guide in freedom and how to live authentically and to kind of live the life that you really want to live. So I really hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!